Now, we are going to talk about another interesting phenomenon found in chemistry, and it has got great significance in organic compounds. It is called resonance. When we talk about resonance, it will be ideal for us to talk about benzene, because that is a classical model of a resonance structure. All of us know that Kekulé for the first time deduced a structure for benzene, where he said it is a cyclic compound which has got a carbon-carbon single bond, double bond alternatively. He therefore accounted for the tetravalency of the carbon atom and also the monovalent hydrogen atoms, and it was a cyclic compound put forth by him. For a very long period of time, it was considered to be the correct structure of benzene. Subsequently, there were certain flaws or certain explanations that could not be given by such a structure. That led to another structure of benzene, which is now referred to as the molecular orbital structure of benzene. Here, the carbon atoms are talked in terms of their hybridized state. In benzene, there are 6 carbons, all the 6 carbons are sp2 hybridized. Therefore, planar, they are trigonal planar. Each carbon forms 3 sigma bonds. Each carbon is then left with one free p orbital. So, this is the planar sp2 carbon atom at an angle of 120 degree, sp2 planar. So, it has got 6 and these are hydrogen atoms. So, a benzene atom has 6 carbon-carbon, 6 carbon hydrogen, therefore, a total of 12 sigma bonds which lie in the same plane. This is the planar ring of an sp2 carbon benzene ring. Each of the sp2 carbon now has one p orbital. Each of the carbon has one p orbital. It is not proper to put numbers, but just for explanation's sake, I put numbers. So, 1 and 2 could undergo sideways overlap, 3 and 4 could undergo sideways overlap, 5 and 6 could undergo sideways overlap, and therefore, we get a structure like this. At the same time, another possibility is this, where the sideways overlap could be with the other neighboring. Because we are numbered, we can say it is between 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 1. So, structure 1 and structure 2 are identical, degenerate, equivalent, but they are not same. So, these two possible structures are there. We are again going back to the same thing that Kekulé said, that there are double and single bonds alternately. But here is the interesting thing. At a particular given point of time, one can either form with 2 or 1 with 6, 2 with either 1 or 2 with 3, 3 with 4 or with 2. Accordingly, we get this. The interchange is so very rapid that at a given point of time, it becomes very difficult for us to correctly pinpoint and say the double bond is here or here, or this is double bond, this is single bond. It could be this is double and this is single, or this could be double and this could be single. So, when a person checks the structure of benzene, because there is a rapid interchange between these two structures, we can neither find out 1 nor with 2. If you wanted 1 or 2, you will have to decrease the temperature to almost near minus 100 degrees centigrade, then and only then we get this structures. Under normal conditions of temperature and pressure, neither this nor that is obtained. That led to the speculation of a new structure for benzene, and that was put like this. And this was referred to as the delocalized pi electron system. Because pi bond cannot be found to be isolated here over the 6 carbon atoms uniformly. So, this is called as resonance. So, based on this explanation, we can come to a direct definition for resonance. So, now I say, what is resonance? Resonance is an imaginary possible structure of a molecule necessary to explain its properties. You cannot show this structure. So, it is an imaginary structure, but it is essential to explain the properties of the compound. Such a structure is referred to as resonance structures, and all resonance structures must obey all normal rules of chemistry. And if it is there is a negative charge or a positive charge, in all the structures the number of negative or positive charges should be same. So, this is the most important thing, and their approximate energy should be almost similar. Not that you can have very high energy structure and a very low energy structure. No. So, there are certain essential conditions which is required for resonance structures. So, this is about resonance. So, resonance is actually delocalization. So, delocalization is directly related to resonance, because in many questions you will be asked to find out whether it can show resonance or not. So, the thing that you must see is, if delocalization of pi electrons or lone pair electrons is possible, then such systems will show resonance. Now, for example, look at this compound. Now, they may ask you whether this can show resonance. Yes, because this pi electron can shift and you get a structure like this. Now, double bond is here, this becomes this. Now, what will happen? This will shift. This phenomenon is called as delocalization, and delocalization is an essential feature of resonance. Okay. So, you should always remember that delocalization leads to resonance, or resonance can be explained by systems which can undergo delocalization of either pi electrons, or it could also be due to lone pair electrons. Now, just because we talked about benzene, we must know that resonance is an essential ingredient of main group of organic compounds. So, with explanation of resonance, we can talk about the properties, characters of lot of reactions, and specifically much discussion can be explained by resonance in the case of benzene molecule. So, now we will be discussing about the reactions generally shown by benzene. All of us know benzene has 3 delocalized pi bonds. It has got 6 pi electrons, and it is considered to be a sandwich structure because the 6 pi electrons cover the 6 planar carbon atoms. So, benzene is considered to be an electron rich entity. So, whenever we talk about benzene, in the structural characteristics we said it does not show addition reaction easily. Instead, it very easily shows electrophilic substitution reactions. So, we will be talking about the mechanism of electrophilic substitution reactions shown by benzene. Normally, whenever we write a reaction of benzene, we show it like this. This is the general overall reaction of an electrophilic substitution reaction of benzene. An electrophile gets substituted and then H on the benzene ring generally goes away as H plus. So, this is the overall reaction of an electrophilic substitution reaction of benzene. Now, we will be talking about the mechanism involved in the electrophilic substitution reaction. Now, for example, whenever benzene molecule and electrophile come close to each other, there is an attraction between the pi cloud and the electrophile. This results in the formation of a very interesting species where the Y plus is attracted by the pi cloud. We call this the pi complex. When this pi complex becomes strong enough, then it results in the formation of a bond. Now, when the bond is being formed, the Y plus is an electron deficient species. It requires 2 electrons for the bond formation, and it is given by the 6 pi electron cloud system, wherein now the 6 pi cloud breaks up. Here the pi electron shifts to form a bond for Y. As a result of this, this carbon now becomes positive. The loosely held pi electron then shifts. We call it resonance, delocalization, and we get this structure. Now, further delocalization takes place. Now, this electrons of hydrogen is released and as a result of it we get the product. We get back the product. So, these are the steps by which the electrophilic substitution reaction benzene takes place. We can say there are 4 steps. The first step is the formation of the pi complex. The second step is the formation of carbon cation. Third step is the delocalization. And the last step is the breaking away of H plus to form the products. So, there are 4 steps in the electrophilic substitution reaction of benzene. First, formation of pi complex. Second, formation of carbon cation. Third, delocalization or resonance structures. Last step, breaking of the H plus to form the product. Among these 4 steps, the most difficult or high energy or rate determining step is the formation of carbon cation, because it involves the breaking of a stable benzene ring. So, it is called the rate determining slow step of electrophilic substitution reaction. Now, we will take up individually the different reactions shown by benzene. Normally, benzene shows 5 very important electrophilic substitution reactions. One is nitration, the other is halogenation, then alkylation, acylation and sulfonation. Alkylation, acylation are also referred to as the free radical, as the Friedel and Crafts alkylation and acylation. So, we will take up one after the other and see how the reaction proceeds. Now, for example, in the case of nitration, nitration is normally carried out using a nitrating mixture. What is a nitrating mixture? It is a mixture of concentrated HNO3 and concentrated H2SO4. So, nitration is generally carried out in the presence of a nitrating mixture. When you write the overall reaction, it can be found that benzene reacts with HNO3 concentrated, H2SO4 concentrated, resulting in the formation of nitrobenzene, eliminating a molecule of water. So, it is pertinent to know why do we use sulfuric acid during nitration, because nitration, the electrophile, in nitration the electrophile is NO2 plus, and we know that NO2 plus can be generated by nitric acid. So, this is nitric acid, and we can presume that this is possible. So, NO2 plus is the electrophile required that can be generated by the nitric acid. Why then do we use sulfuric acid? Here is the interesting explanation for it. If nitric acid has to give NO2 plus, it must ionize to release OH minus, and this is an acid you can never normally happen. It can never normally happen that nitric acid will release NO2 plus in the process release OH minus. So, this cannot take place normally, and if we want to generate NO2 plus, it is necessary that nitric acid must behave like a base, and nitric acid can behave like a base only when we take a stronger acid than it. So, that is why we take the help of sulfuric acid. Now, what actually happens is this nitric acid takes up the H plus from sulfuric acid and it takes up the H plus, and this now after protonation it becomes like this. And breaks off. As a result of it, you get H2O and NO2 plus. So, to generate the electrophile NO2 plus, it is necessary to add a stronger acid than nitric acid. That is why we use sulfuric acid. That is why we need a nitrating mixture. By itself, normally nitric acid will not generate NO2 plus. To facilitate that only, we are making use of sulfuric acid. So, it is a very interesting thing. Two things you must remember. What is the role of sulfuric acid? It is used as a protonating agent. Number two, what is the role of nitric acid here? Nitric acid behaves like a base because it accepts H plus ion, it behaves like a base. So, the most important thing that we must remember during nitration is that HNO3 behaves like a base. This is the most important thing that you must remember, and many places this comes off as a question. So, during nitration, nitric acid behaves like a base. Sulfuric acid is used. Why? It is used as a protonating agent. Only on the presence of protonating agent you get NO2 plus released, and then and only then the reaction takes place. Next is halogenation. Suppose I take chlorine as an example, we call it chlorination. Here the electrophile is Cl plus. How can we generate Cl plus? Because chlorine we know it's electronegative and we need a Cl plus. How can we generate a Cl plus? Here we make use of a Lewis acid like AlCl3. Even though this molecule AlCl3 is a neutral molecule, it has a very strong positive headed aluminum because it is bonded to 3 chlorine. Now, when a chlorine molecule comes near this bond becomes gradually weak and this gradually breaks off and one of the chlorine goes away. In this process, what is left behind is Cl plus and you get AlCl4 minus. So, Cl plus, the electrophile can be generated only when you add a Lewis acid like AlCl3, and when you add AlCl3 you get Cl plus. This is the electrophile, the reaction then proceeds as per the mechanism that we said earlier. So, this is about chlorination. When you talk about alkylation, alkylation is introduction of alkyl group. Here the electrophile is R plus. Suppose you take CH3Cl. Here again, just like in chlorination, you use a Lewis acid like AlCl3. This bond is broken away, resulting in the formation of CH3 plus and AlCl4 minus. So, this is in the case of alkylation. Here in the case of alkylation, it is necessary for us to take an example of such a compound. It is CH3, CH2, CH2Cl. This when treated with benzene in the presence of AlCl3, what will be the product? What do we expect? We expect this to break and we expect this as the product. But we do not get this. Why? The reason is CH3, CH2, CH2Cl, when treated with AlCl3, first we get CH3, CH2 plus. This is a primary carbon cation. It very easily undergoes rearrangement because a secondary carbon cation is obtained. So, a 1,2 hydride shift takes place. 1,2 hydride shift takes place. That is, the hydrogen from here shifts there and the plus charge comes here to form a secondary carbon cation, and a secondary carbon cation is more stable. So, the electrophile undergoes 1,2 hydride shift or a rearrangement. So, instead of getting this, when this reaction is carried out, you get this. So, such interesting examples are normally found in questions. That is, instead of taking this, giving methyl or ethyl chloride, they give you chloropropane. Chloropropane first gives you a primary carbon cation which undergoes 1,2 hydride shift to form a rearranged product. It becomes a secondary carbon cation, and instead of getting N-propyl benzene, you get isopropyl benzene. So, this is the reaction for an interesting example for an alkylation reaction. Next is acylation. So far what all we said, the name was easily detected from the name: nitration NO2, chlorination Cl+, alkylation CH3+. Acylation, suddenly you may not get the grip of what the group is. Acyl group is CH3CO group. This group is called an acyl group, and acylation is carried out just like chlorination or alkylation using acyl chloride with AlCl3. You get the electrophile required as CH3CO+. So, this is the electrophile. So, when you write the overall reaction, you get this. This group is called an acyl group, and acylation is carried out just like chlorination or alkylation using acyl chloride with AlCl3. You get the electrophile required as CH3CO+. So, this is the electrophile. So, when you write the overall reaction, you get this. Now, we are going to talk about sulfonation. Sulfonation is interesting because there are certain important things that you must understand here. Sulfonation is carried out by using fuming sulfuric acid. Fuming concentrated sulfuric acid. You get this. SO3H plus water. But when you look at this reaction, you may be tempted to say that sulfuric acid, see I have written sulfuric acid now. We may be tempted to say that the electrophile is SO3H plus, and SO3H plus is coming. But we know sulfuric acid by itself will never give this, because it is a very strong acid. Sulfuric acid can never behave like a base to release HSO3 plus. So, this reaction is said to be taking place by a very interesting phenomenon called as self-protonation. One sulfuric acid molecule protonates another sulfuric acid molecule, and as a result of this self-protonation, here in this molecule, one sulfuric acid molecule protonates another sulfuric acid molecule and results in the formation of H2O plus SO3. So, this takes place here. One sulfuric acid molecule is protonated to release SO3. Here the electrophile is SO3. So, the protonation of a sulfuric acid by another sulfuric acid molecule results in the formation of a SO3 molecule, and SO3 is the electrophile here. Now, when a molecule of benzene comes close to an SO3, SO3 is a neutral electrophile. This pi electron is attracted to the sulfur, resulting in the formation of pi complex first, then it forms an pi complex, then it breaks the benzene ring, resulting in the formation of this. That is, when this attracts this, pi electron shifts, resulting in the formation of this. Now, subsequently what happens? Delocalization takes place. Delocalization takes place. And in the end we get this. And this takes up the H, and that is how you get SO3H in the end. So, sulfur trioxide is the electrophile. In the end, it takes up the H plus released by benzene ring to form SO3H. There is an evidence for this. How? So, what was the conclusion that we had drawn? The conclusion here was sulfonation is carried out and the electrophile is SO3. In the end, the SO3 becomes SO3H. The H comes from benzene. Suppose you take deuteriated benzene, C6D6, instead of hydrogen you have deuterium, C6D6 plus H2SO4. If what we said is correct, we must get C6D5, SO3, and if the H was coming from sulfuric acid, you would have got H. If it is coming from the benzene, as we said in the mechanism, you must get this, and we get this. This underlines and explains that the H of SO3H does not come from sulfuric acid, but it comes from the benzene ring. So, this is the most interesting part of sulfonation.